Sup shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be reviewing the album from an act named Toby Levi, and this is titled Self. Switching over to here, we have 11 tracks at 44 minutes. A whole bunch of different people involved in this. I believe these are the people who are singing on the record, which is great. Apparently this took 7 months to produce, so that's a nice healthy amount of time for an album. We're going to listen through this entirety of this record from start till finish. We're going to hear what we think, starting with Velvet. Let's go. What do we got? Gorgeous album art, by the way. Lovely guitar with these vocal harmonies. Sounding very peaceful. There's a lot of brightness. A semblance of serenity.
Oh, honey, won't you turn your back away? There's nothing left for me to say as the silence comes our way. In the eyes of a trying man, a stranger, just look past all the danger as my soul slides away.
These are flawless octave harmonies you have here, man. It's very, very instantly likable and presentable. Oh, some interesting extended harmonies there.
No, I don't wanna live this way no more. No, I don't wanna live this way no more. I don't wanna live this way.
I don't want to live this way no more.
Raindrops fall down onto her cheek to cover up all of her tears, and I'm afraid that I am the same. Watch as the time just goes right on by, softly into the night sky. I miss the days when I was someone else.
That's an interesting tale on that. It's not a part of the scale, I don't think, or if it is, there's some really kind of cool stuff going on there. There could be some chromaticism, there might not. End of the day, it's a point of interest to me. It's something that you don't expect. And it's a powerful tool in your kit to occasionally put these parallel majors or minors or these interesting extended chords in to kind of shake things up and keep people kind of wondering what's going to happen next.
I don't wanna live this way no
More of a pad-like thing going on with more of the vocalists involved.
I don't wanna live this way.
So we're talking about the raindrops covering up the tears and the night sky and all that, and it seems like people are sort of struggling with their situation and they want to have a different kind of situation than they're currently in.
I don't wanna live this way no more. I don't wanna live this way no more. I don't wanna live forever.
I don't want to live forever. I don't want to live forever anymore. That's interesting. You know, people striving. There are literally people investing money and trying to become immortal right now, and I wonder if they'll have these same issues. Stunning. I love the guitar work on either side of the headphones, and I love that very, very, very light piano work. I could hear some piano. Oof. There is dynamic range to this record. I dig it. There's these little soft layers that are there just as an atmospheric kind of thing, and it just brings so much life to the album. Burden of the Grave, number 2, with Toby Levi and D Wolf. So we got more of the guitar-led stuff. That's pretty cool. Again, there's a severely impressive amount. I don't know if severely is the right word to use there, but like an impressive amount of dynamic range to this. I'm having to really listen to the ins and outs of this to catch it, and that's kind of clever, you know? Not just assuming it's all going to be the same loudness, and forces the listener to really pay attention. Go between the parallel majors and minors. Cool. Good songwriting. Oh.
I haven't seen your face in quite some time, and I can't help but to stare right into your eyes. Put me back into a place. Just what have you become? And
See how that hits you? When you pay attention to that quiet guitar, kind of very somber, and listen to this phenomenal singer really express herself with those effortless, flawless vibratos and legatos, you know, it's stunning. Such a lovely, interesting vocal tonality there. But then the boom, you know, that comes in a boom, you know, I can't reach that low note, but you know what I mean.
I am a burden to this ghost town, and I don't know
Interesting triplet note groove there, again, very subtle though.
without my 2 feet on the ground, and I'm not who I thought I was. So I guess I'll be on my way, all out of love for today.
Wow, one of the best singers I've heard during my time doing these reviews, man. There's no hyperbole there. You know, this is someone who really knows himself as a singer and as a performer. And these melodies are really intriguing, and they fit so well within the coloration of the extended harmony, and that bass that sits lovely on top of the bass guitar that comes in, and
I'm gonna sell my soul away to buy time from yesterday. Break me, is it
very.
only because you are
This minimalist percussion is quite nice.
said you found someone better than me? What a sight, but such a pity.
Oh, okay, where we go?
I used to walk on water, now I drown in oceans of sorrow. Take a shot into the night, as you may find a better life. But now I am is a virgin woman.
Ooh, okay, I was not expecting that. I was thinking, is this D Wolf's vocal range? Is this where we're at with this? No. Up top. Whew.
For a place to lay her head, but I've got
Nowhere left, man. Nowhere left. You know, there's some really intense imagery throughout this album so far. You hear about people walking on water and then they're drowning. You're talking about the people with the raindrops and then the tear. And these are really fascinating pictures that are visual. There's visual images that are invoked here, and visual images. That's not anything. What am I talking about? What I mean is, like, it invokes these thoughts in your head and that describe the situation well. You can imagine it. There we go. Way more articulate way of, I don't know. I'll let the Now that was a spicy decision there to go down to that note there. That sizzle though. There's going to be I think there might have been some compression going on there. She's hitting that compressor hard, man. But yeah, the amount of power required to be able to sing in that range like that is just, it's just phenomenal. So I mean, of course, you have like the percussion that's been mainly sort of like taking a back seat for most of it, coming in there to go do some fills, you know. But for the most part, the rest of the instrumentalists have been incredibly supportive. You had a backing sort of pad like thing going on with the vocals in the second half of the chorus, but
I guess I'll be on my way out of love for today. And I'm gonna sail away to
beautiful strings there. Again, very, very. You have to listen for it. When you hear it, it's worth it. You know, I get the opportunity to listen to albums, like albums, on an almost daily basis now. That's part of one of the jobs that I have is to do this. And it's not always a pleasure. Sometimes you listen to an album and you're like, I'm not really sure if I'm enjoying the ride so far, even in the early stages, and that could be kind of concerning. But so far, I think that if these are different singers that are involved, different song co-writers, I think it's going to be a great time. I reckon we're going to have a fairly interesting experience with this. Like, if I go to the verse,
me back into a place. Just what have you become? And I am a burden to this ghost town. And I don't know just what to do with.
there's just like when you listen to that vocal line, it's so utterly fascinating. And she's saying, I just don't know what to do. And it's a very simple statement. It's a very simple admission, but the amount of emotional content that's going on with the way she puts so much intrigue and just so much. She just communicates herself as a human being so well through the way she sings. She sounds uncertain, unsure of herself. She's bearing her soul, and the music is neutral enough in certain respects, anyways. Like obviously, there's some minor chords going on. There's a minor harmony, as there should be in a track like this, but it's still like wide enough for someone like D Wolf to come in and just really spread their wings. And I think it's phenomenal stuff, man. Really great. Universal with Toby Levi and New Kyung. New Kyung. I'm pretty sure that it's either Nyakyung or New Kyung. Oh, this is different again. Fascinating. Got some kind of trap sort of modern hip hop elements going on here. But you've got these synths with a slow attack on the envelope. Where are we going with this?
I don't need another reason. I've been flying through the seasons. Me and Robbie feel the same. We just gotta hide her pain, and I can hide from everybody else. Everybody but myself. She been dying in her sleep, walking line through her teeth. Now I grab a couple bottles, take my foot and knees on the throttle. She wants me back out of place, but only for the fucking. Then she has the audacity to ask me for my money, but ain't no fucking way you come at me and try to take it all away. Too much pleasure is pain, yet I'm only going insane. I just wanna keep you safe, but there's too much on my mind, and I'm smoking till my lungs deflate. And I'm smoking.
Shit, this is tight. This is really tight. That the 808s, the drums, that sort of musical theme that's continued throughout. It's very tight. This is a very, very slick record so far. I'm assuming Toby Levi wanted to sort of create these tracks to suit the preferences of the individual musicians that he's collaborating with. which obviously is a smart move. I just love the change in the mood to Universal. This is a lot more. There's a lot more aggressive.
Around and round on the merry-go-round I go as I wait for an afterglow at the end of the rope. I'm giving in, but that's different than giving up. Everyone I trust is killing me all at once. See my hands at risk, so I fold.
Everyone I trust is killing me at once. Damn, man. Let's hear some more.
Bullshit that I know. It's so fucking cold out here, so I just put the heaters on and in Impala 74. Hush, wanna cop a feel from the ghost next to me. Yeah, the city is on fire, so I hit it in overdrive. Never tell a lie, but I'm sure they'll get out alive. Give me some time, and I'ma trade it all just for a dime. Hand of the world, nah, it's just a hand of mine. I don't need another reason. I've been flying through the seasons. Me and Robbie feel the same. We just gotta hide the pain, and I can hide from everybody else. Everybody but myself. She's been dying in her sleep, walking line through her teeth. Now I grab a couple bottles, take my foot and knees on the throttle. She wants me back at the place, but only for the fucking. Then she has the audacity to ask me for my money. But ain't no fucking way you come at me and try and take a dollar.
Okay, I kind of get it. We're repeating this line here, and there's a big focus on like sort of the instability of the relationships that he has and everything like that, and on being unable to sort of trust people and have faith that there's sort of like, you know, like wanting someone for their money and stuff like that. It sounds like a horrible situation, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more to it, but
Yeah, so give me something. Lately, baby, I have nothing. I just wanna feel happy. Is that too much to ask for? I am distancing myself from all of those around me. Won't admit, can't defeat it. As the universal dread comes my way. Yeah.
Even these little kind of like percussionists kind of like fill it. It's just filling in little gaps in the composition, you know, like these little repeaters and tail ends and stuff like that, just to keep the listener's attention maintained. But at the same time, it's just so it's kind of, you know, if they didn't have it, it would just be kind of flat, you know, having that blah blah, you know, like having that kind of 4-note chord pad progression here.
Give me something.
And like their stereo pan as well, bomb bomb like that. Again, they could have just been lazy about it and go bomb bomb like that, but no, they put the work into making it interesting for people to sort of enjoy themselves with and be engaged.
Now I'm falling asleep at the back of the cab, drifting off in my head, but I just wanna cry in bed. The things that I would do to take it all back. After the things that I've seen, can't picture where I've been. So fucking tired of being lonely. I honestly wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy.
So is this more about sort of like being able to trust people so you end up alone and struggling with the fact that you can't make connections with people that are sincere or genuine? And a universal dread of being alone and not being understood and having to sort of cope with the world on your own, no matter how hard you try to be around people?
My only worst enemy is me, and for that, I'm sorry. But I promise I will open up, and I ain't giving up. Me and Robbie feel the same, we just gotta hide the pain. Me and Robbie feel the same, we just gotta hide the pain.
Me and Robin feel the same, we just gotta hide our pain. So I'm assuming that self is about musicians sort of opening up and expressing their sort of like self-doubts and stuff like that, or things that they're demons, they're in demons. Which explains why there's a different tone to Nuke Young's one as opposed to D Wolf and Velvet, where they all express different parts about themselves that they may not necessarily enjoy or appreciate. But that brings authenticity to the performance nonetheless, and again, to Toby Levi's credit, to create and produce this music to suit their individual messages and stories so well is something that ought to be respected and appreciated. That's really, really cool stuff so far. 3 tracks, you know. I like with Universal as well that we split it in 2 and we had a more sort of like not necessarily uplifting, obviously the content wasn't necessarily uplifting, but more of a... It's just having the 2 sections split in half with the very kind of bass heavy kind of, you know, 808 and kicks, and then having these sort of synthy pad kind of floaty bits in the second half. It's just that bit of complexity that's required to keep a 3-minute 46 song sounding fresh the whole way through. Fast Lane with Toby Levi, or Levi, and Justin Beauchamp. So more of that guitar-led stuff. That's kind of dope. It was nice to shake things up with Universal, though. There's these interesting ends to these sections where, like, I think Toby Levi knows that if he just remains in the key signature, it's going to sound too kind of cheesy, maybe, or too sort of generic. So he kind of flattens a note or he sharpens a note or something like that, just to kind of add a little bit of tension to it and a little bit of, oh, what was that? And that's how they hook you, because if you do that before a vocal section, you're paying real close attention to what the singer has to say, and then you're done. They just got you in that box, and they've got your attention, and that's just that. Got it. Yep, called it.
When you can't feel a thing, we've been waiting so long to be someone again. She owns my heart, but I love her all the same. But we both know that I live someone else's life.
I live someone else's life. Oh, so is he not who he needs to be, or is he being who he thinks he needs to be in reality? It's just, oh, interesting. Very different singer to like D Wolf and Yu Kyung, where D Wolf, oh, she was all she just I don't even know how to describe the way, like, obviously, oh man, I wish I knew more about vocals to describe the different styles. Justin Beauchamp is less concerned with the ornamentation within his vocals, and it's just has a few sort of straightforward melodies. That's not to say it's basic. It's just that arguably at this point there's less complexity in the vocal melodies than D Wolf, for instance. And you had the rapping in Universal, which is fantastic. I didn't really mention Yu Kyung's rapping like much at all, actually. Like for Universal and Yu Kyung, dude, there was no bar that was dropped, man. He could spit for days. It was great. He told the story he needed to. He emoted through the rapping in a way that was authentic and genuine. But he also didn't overdo it, and there wasn't that kind of bravado that would have seemed to kind of I know not all hip hop is about bravado and all that stuff, but you know what I mean? Like there was it seemed like he was a very down to earth individual. I got a lot of love for that.
And I'm staring at the crossroad, don't know which way to go.
It's nice to have the ladies singing behind him or with him, and to have that extra bit of color in the higher register.
I'm sure there's a reason for why this world keeps spinning round. Yet it's still the same old story every single day. And every night I stay up and drink till I fall asleep.
Oh wow, that high melody with that maybe the same vocal or additional vocalist is kind of serene, but it's kind of disturbing as well. The fact that he drinks until he falls asleep. There's that cognitive dissonance. There's that disturbance.
Cause I'm just living in the fast lane.
It's very peaceful, but also incredibly sad, isn't it?
I'm just living in the fast lane.
But it's a different kind of sad to Burden of the Grave, and it's
Upon a time
velvet.
you were all mine.
Nice little subtle work. It's just had a lot on this movie, haven't it?
Just living in the fast lane. And I've been waiting so long to live.
Dreamlike high backing vocals there. I love that texture. You got this piano on the right side, and like it isn't screaming at you, but you can hear it gently, and you're like, oh, that's a nice little shift in this final section. It's the little touches that can really make an experience special, you know what I mean? I mean, I know Toby Levi knows what he means. Knows what I mean, because he's doing it. Oh, stunning. Great. Is this the next track? That's beautiful. Well done to Toby Levi and Justin Beauchamp for Fastlane. Yeah. It's such well-produced music, man. It's so slick. Like, I would expect this from like a mate. I hesitate saying major label actually because I think there's a lot of independent labels that are doing stuff that sounds just as good as the major stuff. So I don't actually think that's the measuring stick anymore, or it hasn't been for the last decade anyways, eh? It's just yeah, it sounds like it's been done very professionally, and the vocal performances and the stories that are being told are giving that a little bit of X factor at the moment, which I appreciate. Small talk. Toby Levi and Olia Graham. Olia Graham. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Who thinks to do this? You just got these sort of old schooly kind of TV strings going backwards and forwards in the stereo field, dude. Oh, those synths are phenomenally pretty, dude. They're like ice drops. Oh, the dynamic range is stunning. Even the quiet stuff is like loud, but not in the way that's pumping. This is next level production, dude.
Baby, I don't want no changes. I just want you here with me. Lately, I've been craving attention, so give me all your company. We keep second guessing, but dying, babe, keep dressing, yeah. And if this is all we're doing, I may as well be the one to blame, babe. Ain't no lie.
And these backing vocals coming in, or the vocal harmonies as well to back up this second half of the chorus, I suppose. Okay.
Baby, I don't want no small talk. I just want some of your ecstasy. No, I don't want your small talk. I just want a piece of your body. Baby,
All right, we're going for that physical traction. We want that. We want that time. We want that time. That's cool. I dig
I
it.
don't want no small talk. I just want some of your
No small talk.
ecstasy.
Again, B. That's another chromatic chord, or like a parallel major or minor or something like that. That's a parallel major. Usually it's a minor there, so that's cool. That's and the key signature. I mean, usually be a minor in the key signature for that chord. So, and just that little change on the end shifts things up, keeps it exciting. You know, very kind of. There's no messing around with the way that this is being sung in regards to the content and the story and the plot and all that kind of stuff. So I think everyone knows what's going on, and that's great. That kick is so punchy to it. It just smacks you in the face, but in a way where you want to kind of get smacked over and over by it. And very simple harmony. Bassline stomping, no, I dig it. Yeah, that sort of like tail on the floor is kind of dope as well. A little bit of extra energy there, just kind of loop it. Ooh, there was a little bit of a glimpse of the capabilities there. That I can't do it. I'm not a singer, but Olia Graham is a singer, and she can sing very, very well. Just there was a little subtle showing of what she's capable of there. That vibrato is just beautiful, man. Gorgeous stuff. Toby Levi chose great people. No drums. Let the take up. Okay.
don't shy away. I'll climb on top of you, and baby, I don't want no small talk. I just want some of your ecstasy.
The song 6 is hell, man. Like, I dig it. I get it. We know what kind of vibe we're going for here. We need to be open about. Yeah, there is no time for small talk in that situation.
I don't want no small talk. I just want to be some.
Gotta be real with each other, right?
Baby, I don't want no small talk. I just want some of your fantasies.
Just want some of your fantasy. Yeah, okay. Again, very different to the fast lane. I don't necessarily think this is a chronological affair. I think these are sort of concepts that are explored by the different musicians involved with Toby Levi. And yeah, it brings out their strengths. They're capitalized upon, and it's a smart move.
Baby, I don't want no small talk. I just want some of your ecstasy now. I don't want your small talk. I just want a piece of your body. Baby, I don't want no small talk. I just want some of your fantasies.
There's not like a whole lot of sort of development to the main musical theme. There's like 1 or 2 additional elements added every time around, but in a way that's kind of like a sometimes thing, so that it doesn't just become noise at the end.
Please.
Well done. Yep, that was great. Individual personalities to each of these tracks, clearly defined. We understand what the tracks are about. We're doing well. Novocaine by Toby Levi and Luke Rushmere. I was about to say Rushmore, but I'm glad I said Rushmere. A little embarrassing. No, for real. You know when people, why do people say that? You know when they said, oh, I almost did that. Why do they mention that they almost did it? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? People are weird, man. Maybe I'm weird. I'm gonna go back and I was just talking stuff. We'll go back a little bit. Here we go. We've got these strings. Very ominous. Ooh, it sounds like the start of a movie or something like that, or like before like a fight or something like that. There's a lot of tension there, you know? Oh, the build. Stereopating for the Novocaine part.
I can tell you by the way you walk that you've been looking for the guy to come and ruin your life. Am I jealous?
Oh, this is slick. That quarter note groove on the drums is stunning. The way everything else hangs over the top, and he could just walk through that mix like a pro. Wow. Wow, this is good music.
I know you've done this a few times, but all I'm thinking about tonight. Turn down
Got that sequencer going on there, the 16. Some call and response. And fade before the chorus.
I need you to know when I wake up tomorrow, girl, you better be gone, 'cause I'm not one to follow, and I can lead you on. So I have to be honest, I'd rather be alone. I just need some company tonight. I just need to ease my mind.
Novocaine. Oh, damn. So they just need that person for the one night and that's it. There's no more than that. They just need that relief. Interesting. Kinda, I wonder if it relates to anything to do with small talk. These kind of playful kind of synthesizers in there that like are kind of quiet, but like they're in the right place in the mix. It's dope.
Is it worth it?
Those whispers, man.
Bleed off of you, 'cause I'm getting fucking sick and tired of being cold in your sunlight. So I hit the road in the dead of night. Now there's one thing left to do, and that's to give you
wake up tomorrow, girl, you better be gone, 'cause I'm not one to follow, and I can.
Oh, I get it. So he's scared of being in a relationship or something like that, and he's worried about committing to it, so he just wants temporary relief so that he doesn't hurt himself? Is that it? Is that it? So there's more depth to that, isn't there? That is why you gotta pay attention to the verses and the choruses, you know? When you listen to one or the other, you only get half the story, right?
I just need some company tonight. I just need to ease my mind. Novocaine.
The Novocaine, like that there, that hook line at the end like that, to sit there and make you think about it, summarizes the situation, goes for the title, boom.
Be my Novocaine.
Well done.
Novocaine.
Well done. None but love for that.
Be my Novocaine.
Saxophone. Woo. More of that, please. Sultry. Sizzles, man. Sizzles in that mix. The staccato's kind of nice in that solo section, eh? The accents, the humanity of it. That gave me a stank face there, man. That's a hell of a sax solo, man. I love it. Vocoders as well. What doesn't this album have? Self. I enjoy it. Give me more albums like this, please. I want more albums like this, please. I've probably got more albums to do like this. This is my job, man. It's so dope to have a job like this. I'm grateful for it. That was Novocaine by Toby Levi and Luke Rushmere. Yeah, the production is flawless. I'm starting to get a hang of some of the sort of stylistic, sort of like the things that are consistent across these tracks. But there's enough variety for not to obviously be predictable. That's the beauty of working with all these different musicians. Scared to Love by Toby Levi and Roxy Reese. Roxy Reese. Foley. Kind of ethereal, otherworldly space synths. Okay, we're going for those reverby layers there with the delay ping pong snares. Alright, where are we going? Oh, that note was hit so sweetly, dude. That there was no hesitancy whatsoever. All alone. Yeah, that hit there, that note there was done wow. Oh, Roxy is a dope vocalist, man. I dig it. Great vocal technique. No anticipation. Loving the sometimes harmonies. Like, Roxy's a strong enough vocalist on her own that she doesn't really need the vocal melodies, but they're coming anyways just to keep things sounding fresh. These starry synths, dude. What was that bubbly pop kind of going at the end of that, man? That was a dope effect, whatever that was. Some mystery in this song, dude. There's just these things that I just am not expecting that come out of it, and they kind of slap me in the face and go, yo, you wake up. You get involved in this. And it's like, yes, sir, I'm keen to listen to more. Beautiful. I see where we're going with this. So it's talking about even if you got hurt before, don't be worried about taking the risk. You know, you got to do it in order to find a better future for yourself. You got to open up those doors when you're ready. I get you. The keyword being again. We got to move on from these things, man. We can't just let it divide us. You know, guitar solo though, very like it's a classily smooth guitar solo at this point. Less is more in certain situations like this, especially when you're trying to balance out the complexity of the vocal arrangement with the rest of the instruments. You're doing a shred solo here wouldn't suit. I'm loving the 80s groove to this, man. The vibe to it, the reverb and the snares being ba 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 ba. Is this a ballad? Is this an R&B kind of ballad? I've had all sorts of genres within this album. I've had rap and country stuff and like R&B and sort of pop elements and kind of the Weeknd, kind of 80s inspired stuff. And here like all sorts of musical influences in this. It's a real showcase of each of these, sort of other featured musicians, man. This is great. This outro, a glistening synthesizer there is so fresh and pretty. It's a very pretty sound to this. Don't be scared to love again. There's probably more nuance to what I'm saying in regards to some of the conclusions to these, but I'm basically, as you know, as a music reviewer, I'm sort of like balancing like what the lyrics are talking about with literally everything else. I acknowledge that if I've missed some context for some of these and that there's more depth to it than what I've said, it's not because I don't care. It's literally just, I'm just trying to like absorb everything. Like if we go back to the verse. See, that's what I mean. Like, she's saying to the person, don't be afraid to love again. You might have been hurt, but you're safe with me. See what I mean? You listen to the verses and you listen to the hook and you get both the messages and then you know what the song's about. And that seems really obvious, but that's why, you know, especially with what I'm doing, I've got to try and, you know, like, I've got to listen to the whole song. If we go back a little bit more, you know. you gotta listen to the whole song. This is why when I started doing the reviews, I would just listen to it through the first time and not go back. But I've obviously adjusted a few things just to allow for the fact that, yeah, you kind of need to make sure that you're listening, understanding each song that you hear. You know? Obviously, but hey, it's cool. We got, yeah, Scared to Love with Roxy Reese, Toby Levi. And now we've got Gold Rush with Toby Levi and Olawale. Olawale? Oh, again, very different. Again, very different. I suppose the closest thing I could say is it's kind of closer to that Novocaine song. A little bit more uplifting. Very kind of early 2010s kind of production feel with the electronic kind of dance move. Dun 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 dun. You know, it's kind of dope with this kind of wah wah kind of sort of oscillated synth work here. And the filter work's phenomenal. You got like a low pass? Yeah, low pass. So it's like a celebration of how they feel in that relationship, and that's why it's a little more upbeat. That's cool. There's all sorts of senses of self within this record. I'm not quite sure what this is about. Like, I want to take the chorus literally, but the gold rush and stuff like that, is that the relationship is the liquid gold, that they're making the most of the riches within themselves and who they are as people? There is change within this. It's like more of a straightforward single than some of the other stuff we've had within this album. I mean, especially when you compare it to Scared to Love. It's more energetic. There's a little more pep to it. I don't necessarily know if I like it more. Like, I don't think it's a badly written song or anything like that. I just need a few times to listen through it to really understand it, I suppose. I mean, like, clearly, like, there's this stimulation there. Like, there's stuff there to keep you entertained if you're listening to it. It's more like I'm just trying to sort of connect the dots. See, what I'm hearing there is she's the man I've been running from, man I've been hiding from. I don't quite understand that bit, and I think I might be mishearing it. So if I am, I apologize. I'm just a little bit confused about the context of that. But yeah, I'm sure someone will point that out to me. Yeah, that was a very straightforward interlude. It'll be always black and white until we fade out. You know, like, are you going to give this a chance? Can we give this a chance? You know, like, I can't, you know, we just got to do the best we can. It's, is this kind of like, are they flirting with each other, talking about the benefits of this sort of relationship that they could have? This, oh yeah, yeah, it was a nice touch though. Girl I've been looking for, girl I've been searching for. He might be saying he's, I'm just like mishearing it. Oof. She's the girl who knows what I like, so I'll make her mine. Okay, that's fairly straightforward, then it makes a lot of sense. The lyrics make sense. I dig it. I like it. It's cool. Yep, the musical themes sort of remained the same throughout. You had some instruments come in, others take away. The groove was compelling for the 3 minutes, but I understand completely why it wasn't longer than 3 minutes. Because I think when you have this kind of A B with a similar bass line and chord progression and stuff like that, even if the vocals change, 3 minutes is still quite a lot of time for that. So that's cool though. That's fine. Again, like lots of work on the production side of it, and I'm not saying for a second that Olawale didn't do a good job. I think they did a great job as a singer. It's just when I compare it to what was occurring in Novocaine, they just from what I vaguely remember, there was more sort of like differences occurring within that one, especially in regards to the vocals. Like you had like vocoders and sort of like pitch modulation and stuff like that. And maybe the Gold Rush was just supposed to be more of a straightforward one, which is fine. We've got Finest Hours by Toby Levi and Maya Miko. Or Maya Miko. Okay, well, that's more of the kind of oscillation going on there. Kind of sounds like a helicopter.
Too many thoughts in a day, so I'll pack up my shit and be on my way. Too many problems that I fucking made. Need a little less stress to find a better way. But I got blood on my hands, and I'm never coming clean, cause I have a greater power that they're never gonna see. And I just wanna be the one you're gonna need, but it looks like I am just another motherfucking enemy to you.
Kind of reminds me of the Universal track earlier, that kind of vibe there with the kind of sort of like more kind of more sort of dominant assertive bassiness to the. Yeah, there's a lot of bass in here. You got more of those 808s, but you also got some strings as well, which is kind of a nice extra bit of color in the mid ranges.
And as the sun goes down, I'm the one you need. Oh yeah, she fucks with it. Oh yeah, I can feel it. Oh yeah, she fucks with it. Oh yeah, I can feel it. And when the sun goes down, I'm the one you need.
Oh, that's cuties.
Yeah, these are the finest hours of the night. Sip a little whiskey in your cup. I am feeling so stuck. About to step into the light. Drive around, taking pills, such a thrill. Never have a relapse.
It's like the pads in the synth pad kind of loops, and it's so kind of wholesome sounding. And I kind of adore that a little bit, especially for a track that's kind of explicit like this, which I don't have a problem with, by the way. I just love how these sort of the sense of wonder and innocence and the harmony combined with these kind of like cicada kind of like hi-hats and all that kind of stuff is really dope.
Turning blue like a vampire, she'll suck on you, she'll take your soul. So keep it close, never let it go. She broke my heart, but I'll never let it show.
Damn, she broke my heart, but I'll never let it show.
I escaped from the devil, but it still doesn't feel real. And I drink every night to get drunk. It only takes 7. Playing with the feelings more than I do with a pussy. Then she keeps asking me.
Playable. What? I don't know why that took me by don't know why that took me as a surprise. I know this guy's having a terrible time, but just play more to feelings than are, like that got me a little bit. Savage stuff, my dude.
Where the fuck you been? I just need some head, please. Now I'm laying on the counter with glass in my skull while the rest of them are stripping. All her friends are fucking psychos, calling me out for everything I've ever said or done. Ashing on my face, such a damn fucked up place. Yet even when you know it, you don't fucking say it. And even when you see it, you won't fucking believe it. Then you ask me to repeat it again, over and over and over again. Yeah.
I like how he's kind of singing, so there's a bit of melodic rapping going on in this part, and he's very careful and conscious of the way that how do I say this? That he's singing. There's an interesting sort of like way he does that with his voice, where he has a slow build into some of these parts, and he sort of goes back to the straight talking. I didn't really speak about Olawale's vocals either. Like, clearly, Maya Miko and Olawale are two different singers, obviously. You know, like, this was more sort of like of a straight vocal performance as opposed to like Maya Miko's, where it's kind of like sort of sing rapping. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Just because I didn't really speak about Olawale's vocals, I didn't. That doesn't mean I thought they were bad or anything like that. They were fine. I think it was just because it was just there's been just some incredible talent, and they were all great singers, and just some of the stuff is just really blowing me away. And I'm more familiar with this kind of music, for example, than like Burden of the Grave or like. So I think that's just my brain going, yep, they're doing a great job. I enjoy it, and then just yeah, here we are.
Even when you know it, you won't fucking say it. And when you see it, you won't fucking believe it. Then you ask me to repeat it again, over and over and over again.
And going into space. The cop cars and stuff like that, man. Sounds pretty rough.
Oh, but now I'm finally broken free. Out of the spell cast over me. This is everything I've ever wanted. Yeah, everything you've ever wanted. But I can't have her in my life anymore. Cause all I need is that peace of mind. But even after all this time, I still see those red and blue flashing lights. Yeah, yeah. I still hold on to you every day. Can't seem to give you up, even when you let me down. Just know if we ever go our separate ways, there's no need for shame. I see your beautiful face, and I know it will all be okay.
Fantastic vocal timbre, nice sizzle to it, a nice little bit of vocal grit. I haven't really heard anyone like Maya Miko before. Maya Miko. I want to hear more from them, actually. Got a really interesting sort of way they tell their tales and stuff. The percussion has been fascinating throughout the whole. You've got these kind of, you might get the main kind of kick and sort of snare groove occasionally, but you have these kind of toms or these hand drums, bum 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 bum, or something. It's alternative percussion there, and these very kind of sort of semi-industrial, kind of very kind of chilled out synths and bass lines and stuff. Yeah. That 16th note groove here between like these kind of secondary kicks and snares. Oh, a bit of distortion on one of those samples as well. That's kind of dope. So I'm assuming this track is about sort of like being in a sort of like an abusive relationship they can't escape from, and like he got sucked dry, and maybe he made some mistakes when that occurred and he couldn't get away from it, and now he's still like kind of dealing with the consequences of those actions even when like that person's not a part of their life anymore. Finest Hours. Really deep track, man. So many different sort of topics discussed. I dig it. I enjoy this album quite a lot myself. All these different tales and experiences. It's just a shame that some people have to really suffer like this, you know? It's a shame that people have to suffer. Kind of a very sad way to end that. He just kind of finishes. It's kind of like he's just walking off to the distance, isn't he? You know, you can imagine that happening into this track. You know, like when you're left with that amount of time to think at the end of a track, it gives you that room to sort of imagine what's occurred and fill in the blanks. And that's a very smart move. Wherever you may go, Toby Levi and Lenny Pearls. Only 2 tracks to go, man. That's a shame. I've enjoyed my time with this record. I really hope it does well. I really hope so.
I don't want to, but I've got to ask if you're still with me.
Oh, okay.
I am hopeless when there's no one else around, so I sit and wait. There are some things that I will never know. Pretend it isn't real.
This is like a masterclass in how to balance out like the complexities of individual parts in like an album without making it become sort of overly complicated, because you've got all the stuff that is happening with the singer, even though the melodies, like the core melodies, may not be necessarily that complicated. These little touches, little inflections, and stuff like that going on. These little flurries, and you've just got the piano just going boom. You know, not a whole lot of complexity in the piano line. I think it balances it out well. It's great, man. It's really cool stuff. It's just give and take, you know.
But I hope you will take care wherever you may go.
Wherever you may go.
Just know it'll be okay, and whatever's in your way, you aren't alone.
Oh, okay. So they're bidding them farewell on their journey and just saying, "Hey, look, wherever you may go, you're not alone. You have the support there. You know who's got your back." It's kind of beautiful, isn't it? Again, playing more piano on this part because there's a lack of a vocals. That sort of like filling in for that melody line there. Smart move. Good job.
I just want to see a future me happily with the family.
Oh, damn, man.
Most of the time, I don't even think there's a one for me. Life is hard, it can be so hard, but you've got to try. And nothing lasts, and everything goes to pass. So live for today. Oh, but I hope you take care wherever you may go.
Such a strong vocal performance as well, like filling in all these different parts to kind of create huge sound to it, to the point where you don't need additional instruments aside from the piano. You know, it's crazy stuff, man.
And whatever's in your way, you aren't alone. After all the long years I spent with you, and the memories I once had with you are gone to somewhere I can't be, and time will see.
Nice way to change that up for this interlude, eh?
But I hope you take care.
Oh, we cut that bar short. They cut that section short by like a bar or two. Cool.
May go.
The space
Just
though, man.
know it'll be okay, and whatever's in your way, you aren't alone.
And that was that. I'm kind of seeing like connections. Like it makes me wonder whether there's connections between tracks, like like Novocaine and Small Talk, where they were both talking about being in each other's beds and all that kind of stuff, and Scared to Love and Gold Rush, where maybe they were talking about the relationship from the different perspectives and stuff like that, and Finest Hours and Wherever You May Go, talking about the person disappearing after with the blue lights and stuff like that. Makes me wonder whether there are these connections throughout this album. I mean, I might be completely wrong, and that's okay. I'll own that. But like we had a 4-chord progression for most of Wherever You May Go. And I didn't get bored once, man. That was 4 minutes 12. So hats off to Toby Levi, Lenny Pearls. Just wow. Oh, slide guitar. Where are we going with this final bit, man? Gotta put that camera on for this last song. And then we have a nap. because this song is like seriously, this album is so peaceful, man. Like I just feel completely relaxed after listening to it.
She was once a blonde girl, now she's a brunette, smoking hand-rolled cigarettes with a couple of regrets. Then
Smoking cigarettes for the cup of regrets. Damn, man. No holding back.
go out with your friends, yet I don't feel any difference, and I don't ever want to see them again. Ooh, ooh. Now I'm seeing those sparks again, flying
Nice double take
round in
vocals.
my head when I think of you. But do you too?
Nice panning on that right.
So will you take this dance again? 'Cause for the first time in a long time, I felt alive that one summer's night. She
Gorgeous.
was once a blind girl, she was once a lonely girl, but now she's happily married with 2 beautiful children. It's a few years down the track, we swore we weren't going back, but I'll gladly follow you to wherever life takes us.
Kind of makes me wonder whether Sparks is referring to wherever you may go with like her talking about wanting a family and stuff like that, and now Sparks is talking about that person having a family. Do you know what I mean? People change over time, they develop, man. Like, wait, that was it? That's the album? It's just finished. Oh, I wanted to hear more. I liked that beautiful song. What a way to finish, man. Just finishing self with that person has found their life now, you know? It's describing their change and their transition, and just people move on, they grow up, man. And flashes, man, humanity. So energy. I just want to go back a little bit and hear that last part of the vocals again.
She was once a lonely girl, but now she's happily married with 2 beautiful children. It's a few years down the track, we swore we weren't going back, but I'll gladly follow you to wherever life takes us.
Follow you to wherever life takes us. Interesting. I think this album is about the people involved expressing their sort of their journeys and their adventures, and sort of talking about themselves and being open and vulnerable about the fact that we don't all live perfect lives. And I think the stories that are told in here are engaging throughout. The sort of there's lots of different musical genres which are and influences which are, you know, you've got stuff from country to R&B to rap to some modern sort of like electronic elements and stuff like that, to some sort of like sort of wavy kind of stuff. It's engaging the whole time, and Toby Levi has a great way of working with the strength of these individual musicians and getting the most out of them. And it was a very believable, authentic journey. I spoke about each of the tracks individually with them, which is kind of helps to sort of decrease the amount of talks I need to do at this part of the review. But yeah, I was very, very happy with this. I've been told to sort of be quite sort of blunt with my critiques of these records, and I want to. I just haven't really got a whole lot of complaints about them. I mean, there was the occasional, like, maybe note that was maybe a little bit caught in the transition there. I didn't hear any instruments that seemed out of whack in the mix. I think that it was, you know, there was enough change, and even in some of the longer tracks, for it to remain sort of like engaging throughout. Scared to Love, even a 5.5 minute track with that really long instrumental outro at the end. Like, you could have put something in there, but I think it's okay for the listener if they're checking out a song from start till finish, like an album from start till finish, to not need to be held by the hand and dragged through and just been, look at this, look at this, look at this, you know? You know, if I was to comment on any sort of like sort of like constructive criticism, I don't really know. I can't really fault it. It gets to a point where, if the mixing and mastering is done right, if the recordings are done right, if the instruments are played properly, you're literally just poking at stuff because you don't personally like it and it's subjective. And subjectivity in music is great, but as a reviewer, you can't really quantify it because you could be like, oh yeah, but that's just an opinion. I suppose a review is an opinion though, isn't it? I suppose a review is an opinion at the end of the day. I think the only track I kind of was like, okay, this is okay. It was Gold Rush, and I don't think it was a badly written track. It's just not one that really stimulated me particularly. There wasn't maybe as much variety as I needed for that track to be, as opposed to the other ones. So D Wolf, that second track, her just stunning singing, and I really enjoyed Maya Miko and Finest Hours as well. Everyone else did a great job. Luke Rushmere was great to listen to as well, and yeah, again, everyone else did a great job. It's just those are the ones that really stood out to me. But this is effectively my review, though, of Toby Levi's album Self. If you enjoyed this album, please do go and check it out via Toby Levi's various social medias and Spotify. Go show some love. Go enjoy it, man. It's a great record. I look forward to what Toby Levi and everyone else involved do in future. Stay cool, stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Catch you next review. Spider hands out.